Hey, Tom, how's it going?
Good, Randy. Good to see you, man.
Excellent. Good to be seen. Excited to have you. Episode 179 of Tech Sales Insights. Really excited to have on today Tom Boccard, who's EVP of Sales at SmartSource, a cool software and events company that does lots of great things. Our title topic is getting maximum ROI from your events. Something, to be honest, I think a lot of people suck at these days. So definitely look forward to your insights there, and also some add-on tidbits, which plays into the maximum ROI from events, selling to net new accounts and markets. So for those that are members of the sales community, thank you. For those that are not, Tucker will throw on a link where you can get a free membership. And as always, we have Tucker behind the scenes helping. So Tucker, thanks so much for your help. And we're also sponsored by SmartSource, who is the event success sponsor of Sales Community. So excited to be kicking that off with you, Tom, as well.
Yeah. It's good that we could sponsor at least the show that I'm on here, right?
There you go.
Like that would have to fit.
And even better, we can hopefully help you sell more too.
That's it. And I'll tell you, Randy, this has been in my calendar since I think February of 2022. So that you had to book me. I had to book this with you 2 years out. I was excited that we're finally here.
There you go. And we're actually, sounds weird, but we're booked out 7 years to 2031 weekly. And I stopped booking. Actually, Chad Blackwell last week was kind of giving me a hard time. He said, he said, hey, how come you haven't had me on? I'm like, I have you on, but it's July 2031. So who knows what the heck we'll be doing then. But anyway, awesome to have you. So by way of introduction, Tom and his family live in Long Island. Terrific son and daughter, happily married. So that's great. And we're trying to figure out how we first met, but I think it was at our one of the Beaver Creek trips back a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago now, 2.5 years ago or so. So I'd been swimming in the same, circles, so to say. But that was when
Perfect. Great invite from good friend Bill Hogan. It's been awesome to see your career working your first global data and now SmartSource, and how great you do with just kind of the go-to-market and your kind of fast start plan and leveraging customers and partners and relationships, and doing a great job hiring and making sure that people on your team are all productive and learning more and selling more. So great to see you doing that all around.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And that's what I loved it about your event, about any opportunities to be around, people like Bill, yourself, that you can learn from. You get hey, what are you doing with your team now? What did you do, last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? I don't think, these processes and management tools, get outdated. I think just sometimes you can evolve what they were, but it's like surrounding yourself with people that have, done what you want to do or what you're currently doing allows you just to keep fine tuning those skills. And it's been great doing that. And it's trying to, I try to transfer that to the team. So it's that just inquisitive nature of constantly wanting to, develop and grow. I think I say a lot, like stagnation is the equivalent of death. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if it's a generational thing, but it seems like, we grew up on that, right? But it seems like, that's something that's been lost a little bit these days.
Yeah, I think, instant gratification, whereas sometimes it's a slow process where you can get that, 1% better every day, learn a little bit every day, and, it just compounds quickly. But it's still out there. You just got to look a little harder.
Exactly. So by way of introduction, have some mutual friends. So from Paul Salamanca says, never met someone who didn't like Tom after meeting him. He's one of the most genuine and authentic people you will ever have the pleasure of meeting. Great family man, great sales leader, and great friend. So pretty nice there. And Mark Stevenson, he says, eloquent, energetic, and emotional IQ off the charts, yet is as pragmatic as the day is long, about solid sales practices executed well. And from Bill Hogan, another awesome leader we're talking about before, Gotta love a sales leader who's so passionate about sales. He becomes co-founder of Top One Percenter Academy to pay it forward and train sellers in his spare time. His interests are evolving since meeting you, and me, I guess. He is now taking up snowboarding, recently committing a bit of golf as a member of Huntington Crescent Club. Things you should know about him is he's a big Saved by the Bell fan.
This is from Bill?
Bill.
That's great.
Go figure. Do you want to expand on the Saved by the Bell comment, or just
I'm not sure where that one came from. That must have been one of the conversations we had.
There you go.
Came up, or maybe with one of his sons.
There you go. And he concludes stand-up guy and consummate professional. So pretty good intros there for you.
Man, I gotta Venmo these guys a couple of bucks later. That's a tough bill to live up to, but good graces to be in with those folks. So
there you go. So jumping in the questions. So first job, actually you were at University of Albany, English major in 2003. And your first job out of school is actually selling gym memberships?
Yeah. I started, my neighbor was a regional manager for New York Sports Club, which was, they had Boston Sports Club, Philly. I don't remember if there's any more than those three, including New York, but got me in as just selling memberships on there. And I had the fortuitous timing to get hired in November, trained in December. First month selling was January, and I think I had set a gym record because of, naturally it's the best month of the year to be selling gym memberships. So it worked out pretty well on that side.
Oh, that's awesome. And then maybe briefly go through your career from there.
Yeah, so from New York Sports Club, I had met some people that, they had their own companies that got me into selling more B2B, was selling mortgage leads at first. And then I had the great idea that I should just start working in mortgages around 2006, 2007. That failed miserably from a timing perspective, which got me into, but I saw from doing that, I realized that I like the structure of an inside sales environment. I like being in offices surrounded by teams and mentors and leaders. So I started looking for roles in that capacity and joined a company called IQPC, which is a B2B conference company. I spent 5 years there. I rose the ranks from entry sales through director of, trade show division. And, it was 5 years or so before Global Data had recruited me. And Global Data is a market intelligence firm, really software company that covers multiple verticals. And I was recruited in there for their energy and pharma divisions, helped build out those sales teams. But I spent 12 years at Global Data, went from private to public. It was a great run. And now here I am at SmartSource. So I've had some long tenures, Randy. I see resumes now, and it's like they got 12 jobs. I've had like 3. It's been good runs though.
Awesome. And tell us more about SmartSource.
Yeah, so SmartSource, we actually just celebrated our 40th birthday. So it's exciting, a long-standing company. The sales team, they've been here, it's a very tenured team, probably on average about 15 years each. So really, really strong relationship that they have with their audience, really great understanding of what the clients need and kind of evolving with the technology. So we, main area of focus is events, AV and technology. So everything from, kind of the badge and reg through breakout sessions, general sessions, or supporting the exhibit floors. We also have a mid, so that's really kind of like short-term rental. We own the technology, the hardware. It's our people that are going out to shows and supporting them, doing the labor that's necessary to kind of take the job and bring it to fruition and close it out. We also do midterm rentals, so we can provide laptops or hardware, copy machines, printers to people that need to rent them. Anywhere from a month or two, which we're doing, supporting the fires that are happening out west now with the government there, to 9, 12, 24 months that we do with a lot of the studios in LA or the IT staffing companies out there, but it's really device as a service. So we provide all the help and security there. So, really a well-rounded technology, provider of, hardware and services to kind of support the needs.
Great. And any customer names you can share?
Yeah, I mean, we work with everyone. I mean, on the event side, we support, tremendous amount of software company. I mean, Dreamforce is an event that we're working in a couple of weeks. So we've been doing that for years. We, handle the AV and tech for the exhibitors, provide laptops and computers for their lab rooms. We work with Dreamforce. Will work with a production company that supports the shows, like your George P. Johnsons or, but I think on the software side, which is probably more with the audiences for you guys, Randy, I mean, it's, any of the top firms out there that we work with. I mean, we have an event with Relativity coming up that we've done over a few years. Rockwell is a big client of ours. It's, anyone that holds user events or conferences, we typically work with, as well as the exhibit design agencies. So the companies that are actually building the booths that you see on the floor. That's been really interesting because they're the ones that are really like kind of tech forward, building these immersive venues to showcase, whether it's technology or just like the branding of the companies. We work with them providing, that AV and tech. So we're kind of the, support system within there for them.
So for the companies, I'll say that are more the end users that are kind of doing the actual exhibiting type activities. What's the kind of title that you're selling to?
So we'll work with their event directors. There's event marketers. So sometimes it's with the CMO at companies. It varies a bit, but it's generally in the kind of
under the marketing
umbrella.
Yeah.
So some companies will have event teams or divisions in there. Others it'll just kind of fall under marketing itself. But it's typically in that side. Sometimes it'll be some of the product teams, if they're launching new products or doing that bit, but generally it still ties back to marketing.
Gotcha. And from any kind of one or two challenges you're dealing with right now?
With clients or
just go to market in general?
Go to market. Yeah.
Selling.
I mean, I think, it's like anything, for like, we've been around for a long time. As I mentioned, 40 years. We've had, really long-standing relationships with clients, which is, one of the exciting things about, when I joined here almost a year ago. But I think it's similar to others where it's like, people associating the name with the service and understanding that. I think some people, some of the clients you work with, they may not understand that, the ones that are holding user conferences that we support, for example, they think they have to use in-house AV providers or tech providers, and that's not the case. So we're, educating and supporting the industry on that side of the house. On the other side of the coin, I think it's being in the industry for as long as we have, we really have some innovative leaders within our organization, people that understand what, clients are trying to achieve and, kind of are at that forefront, of technology out there. Like we just acquired some new technology, it has these LED, basically instead of having just the walls, we've bought a sphere, we've bought a cube, we've bought, it's really, it creates these immersive experiences, which, again, will drive, how long people, how many people come to your exhibit, how many people stay there, how long they're there, and those things that really can drive it. So I think it's helping bring some of the industry, staying up with the industry and bring them forward. But it's just, having the market awareness outside of the people that have worked with us for so long. There's constantly new companies come up. They don't know, you can use an external AV tech company like us, or that we are the AV tech company. So it's got a double-edged sword, I guess, from that side.
Gotcha. And are you hiring?
We are. I mean, we've hired a lot this year. We've hired 10 people within the sales org, from directors of sales through, account execs, account managers, sales support, and so on. So we're currently hiring for a few more positions, and this year, more in the sales side of it. So account execs and SDRs right now. But I imagine we'll be looking for more. Right now we're hiring like 2 or 3 more people. So I think but probably next year we'll need to hire another 5 or 6, I would assume, possibly more.
Awesome. And if I were to come work there, what would you say is special about the culture?
Well, it's very embracing, I'll say. Like I said, it's a long tenured sales team. They've people come here and they stay here because I think they enjoy working, with their clients, but they enjoy working with each other. I was an outsider coming in, and not only welcomed with open arms from everyone, very supportive, people across departments that are leaning in, supporting me. It's really that collaborative environment, right? Like, and that I think for people that are coming to sell somewhere, it can help really speed up ramps. It can help them feel comfortable, and you kind of almost you have these mentors that are almost built in to your organization that is just here naturally. Like I haven't built that. I haven't done that. They embrace me. But they also have the open minded where I'm coming in from the outside with some different ideas or different perspectives, and how we could go to market or how we can better support our clients. And you never know if that's going to be resisted or not. But everyone here, they're very open minded to continued development and growth. So it's really that growth culture and support, which is fun to see in place.
Great. So coming in from a culture behavior perspective, obviously it sounds like there's a lot of great, but there was probably a couple things that you wanted to kind of tweak as well, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's people that have been here for a while. Like, there's a lot of we have really great relationships, as I've mentioned. But as far as adding new logos, that's always been a challenge because of what the bandwidth of the existing sales team that was here. There's a lot of internal processes and systems that we've fixed. There's a lot that are still on in the process of being fixed. So that's been something that I've really been keen on, to give my team more time back to be speaking to their clients or speaking to new clients. But it's also having kind of that go-to-market strategy in place. There's been a lot of reactive stuff. We have a great marketing team and department here, but now working kind of together as one revenue team is a way we can better understand the markets that we serve, better support the markets that we serve, and create more of a kind of predictable and scalable pipeline, so we can continue to expand within our current ICPs, but also expand those into new markets and verticals, as I mentioned, in a predictable fashion. So it's a lot of the hiring that I've done has been for people to come in here and solely focused on new logo acquisition. It's business development, new sales, and these are people that will create new relationships, and then they'll pass them into the account managers that will then manage and grow those relationships over the years.
Great. And relationships obviously really vital, and the fact that you've got people that have been there a while probably helps. And then Nor can probably give you some additional tips and tricks. How do you go beyond just those relationships and selling more too, right?
I owe Nora a call back. I got so swamped. I felt so bad. He had to send me a follow-up email. He's like, "That's not like you." I'm like, "I'm sorry, Nora." But yeah, that really understanding the relationships and learning it. But I love how Nora, like, he's created kind of systems around it. That's the thing. It's like it's having systems in place to leverage the expertise that we have, and kind of like the team. That there's a lot of things I would go through and understand what they're doing in their day-to-day and stuff. And they're just naturally doing these things, and it's like, hey, we starting to document it. Like, these are things we can replicate with new hires we bring in, so it can help them do just as well as you, and continue to build those strong relationships in there. But Nora is he's on my list of follow-ups for sure, and I need to get back to him.
Yeah. Cool new app he's doing under the name Avneer, which is something we'll be talking more about. But then also you're talking about the sales marketing alignment. A lot of times there's butting heads. A lot of time the sales leaders are kind of upset with money being wasted, but sounds like you have a good relationship there, as you said, as one team. Anything special that you've done to kind of make it more one team as opposed to two teams?
I mean, I think it honestly started in the recruitment process for me. So one of the people I spoke with was our VP of marketing, Gina McDuffie, and she was, phenomenal. It was like when I spoke to her, it was as if we had known each other for months or years, right? And but I could just tell we were on the same page and just understood, like, there could be, back to the systems, better systems in place so that the team is maximizing the leads that are coming in. Getting to qualifying in, qualifying out much quicker, or having more follow throughs, so like we can increase the connection and conversion rate of the leads that are happening. So I kind of knew from the jump it was there, and as I met the rest of her team and everyone in it, like they've all been phenomenal, and like the openness, like it was mentioned earlier, with just the company, it's something that's kind of embedded there to help and support. We're meeting with all the different verticals and the respective teams that we sell to understand more about our ICPs. How are we helping them? What are their challenges going through? So we could better educate, or add value to that community, as opposed to just like, hey, like I said earlier, like, hey, we bought a new Sphere LED ball. Like, cool. What's that do for me, right? Like, educate people on like the outcomes and the benefits, and like, I think, as we look at it as a revenue team, we're starting to say, like, again, like our ultimate goal is to better support our customers. We want to support our current customers better, and we want more of them. So if we are delivering the right messages and educating and supporting the various sectors that we sell into as thought leaders and really advisors really for the community, that will drive it. And the team just really, like, we gel well, where it's kind of like everyone has their areas to focus on. We meet constantly, probably 5-6 times a week, in different weeks, and it has a big difference, because again, like we talk about, like kind of the overall culture of the company. It's I've been in those spots before where well, marketing gets us garbage leads. They're not sending anything over.
Right.
That's good. They're wasting all our money. We should use that to hire 3 more people. And it's like, and marketing's like, well, we're sending them all these leads. They're not calling them or doing anything with it. They can't convert them. It's there, and
Right.
it's like that does nothing. Like you're in a then you're all just kind of it's inner bickering almost, right? Like whereas like kind of your forces combined can really drive change in the markets that you serve, but also in the organizations that you work at, and that drives tremendous growth from what I've seen.
Awesome. So circling down on the title topic, getting maximum ROI from your events. So typically there's user events, probably particularly more kind of the software companies, cloud companies, but user events, and then trade shows. And kind of what are any nuances or differences between those for what you do?
Yeah, so I think if you're hosting an event, so if you're it's a user conference, user events, or even if you're a show organizer in itself, right, a show producer, that to maximize that different kind of ROI, it's more about focusing on like controlling your expenses, controlling the hotel expenses, overall expenses. What will really create that ROI. And we'd spoke about it earlier a little bit, Randy. It's up until you sign the contract is when you have the power to negotiate and control that. Like a lot of people don't understand, if you just use the in-house AV, there is a huge convenience charge that will come with that. But if you don't build into your contract that you can use external AVs and tie in specific terms that state like that the Wi-Fi will be a fixed rate, the electricity will be a fixed rate, right? Like we were in Beaver Creek in February, and they wanted to charge you like a couple. Well, I don't want to say the numbers because we love the resort and everything.
No, it's fine. It was like $2 or $3 grand. I'm like, you gotta be frigging kidding me.
Yeah.
Just for like, so
it's a projector for like 40 of us.
Yeah,
like it wasn't like it was like a 5,000 room auditorium.
Yeah. So Kim Norton, Mike's wife, went and got Sandler got one for whatever, $100 or $200. Like this is like crazy. Like you talk to the people, like I get maybe 20 years ago, but like now you got to be kidding me, right?
Yeah. It's wild. So, so it's controlling your expenses. And
Yeah.
like I said, our team has been in the industry for years. Our VP on the event side that works with a lot of these software companies, Chad Frank, like he has been in this industry. He's been with us for 14 years. It's probably another, I don't know, 10 or 15 years prior to that he's been working in this sector. We had acquired his company back 14 years ago, and he's been with us since. So he knows how to do this. He works with companies that do this consistently, and like we really help them in a lot of different areas. So it's something there. But then if you go on the other side of it, if you're exhibiting, if you're sponsoring a show, you're there, how do you maximize your ROI? I mean, like, you got to have a plan, you got to work the plan, and you got to see the plan through to the end, like just you would any sales campaign. So like, you got to identify who you want to meet before there, set up those meetings, or what are you going to, have a plan for when you're on site, how you're going to get those meetings, get those people to your booth, your space, whatever. And then what you're going to do post event to continue to add value and progress the opportunities. But I think, the years of, all the, what do you call it? The like the swag that you're giving out at events or whatever. The words escape me right now. The tchotchkes, right?
Yeah.
Like your tchotchke, you're like, oh, cool. Here's a pen. Here's a stress ball. Like you still have that stuff, but that's not enough, right? Like if you're, as we mentioned earlier, like if you're launching a new product or you're trying to, really create some different brand awareness or positioning the company, you can leverage technology, with LED walls or, digital kiosks, digital signage to really, drive traffic to your booths and keep them there. There's something, it's a lift and lean solution where it'll have like RFID or NFC style tags at your booth. So if someone picks up something on your desk, the image on like the video screens, the LED walls will show you, something about that. So like, when you walk into stores, sometimes it's going through product cycles you'll see on the TV.
Right.
This will have a more specific, it'll be like, oh, here's a pen, boom, let me move to that. So like there's ways you can really leverage technology to make sure that you're, bringing people, keeping people, or progressing those opportunities, that are there. So it's not just, oh, I saw you, yeah, we talked briefly, or like you're following up like, oh, hey, you put your business card in, you didn't win the iPad, but let's talk. It's like you can have meaningful conversations. People can kind of jumpstart those whole discovery calls if you have you're leveraging the right technology and you have the right content that's getting them there.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that people need to, and the marketing teams now at these companies they're getting it. It's just the execution, I think, in some areas to make sure.
Yeah. So what I was at Disaster as an example, like a couple of years ago, I was just kind of walking around, for sport, right? And they don't know if I'm, and I'm older, probably could be an owner of something or CEO or, whatever, but probably not a SDR, BDR type, right? Yeah. And the amount of times I would go by, kind of look, pause, and people just kind of stay in their booth. And like, anytime we all did stuff, which I'm sure same with you, right? I mean, you're going out, hey, how are you? So your name Randy. Hey, you want to engage, you want to see what's going on, you want to pull them in. And it's like today, generally speaking, most of they just kind of wait for people to go. And what a waste. You're spending all the time and effort and energy, you're engaging SmartSource, you do everything else. And you just have these people going by versus going and engaging. And then, whether it's you doing the swipe or do you have interest here, or hey, or who would your, if it's the SmartSource booth, right? So, hey, I see you're such and such company, ServiceNow. Hey, do you know who would run events? Would you be interested in, saving money at your events? Would you be interested in, getting, more effective, kind of leads before, during, and after? Yeah, right. It's just kind of all that stuff. And they just kind of wait. And it's just like, you just want to hit your head against the wall.
Oh man, it's the worst. There's nothing. It's like, or when they're sitting behind the table at the booth, right? Like, and they got their laptop up, or they're sitting there on their phone the whole time.
People are walking by, right? They have no.
What are you doing? And it's like, even like I've been to a lot of conferences where it's been, it's lower volume. It's not, thousands or tens of thousands of people. Maybe it's just, 150. All you need is one solid conversation to make the show worthwhile, right? But like you actually have to get out there and have the conversations. You're sitting passively waiting for people to come up to you. It is a waste of time and energy. You might as well just, take an advertisement out on their agenda that they pass out in the beginning or in the book of the details and let people call you. It's like, what a waste of money and that. And just think about the opportunity cost. Just sending someone there, it's wild.
Yeah, I remember I'll date myself back in the 80s. I was involved in opening up the office for EMC in the UK. And I was trying to figure out how to get the names. We're competing against IBM. So one event we're at, I kind of made a deal with the bartender. If somebody goes with my business card, they can get a free drink. So when I had all these people coming, and I'd say, "Oh, you got to give me your card," and then he give you the card, and then you can kind of engage, and then you could kind of take notes, and well enough who you're going to follow up with or not, or set up a face-to-face meeting, and then they take your card and go. So everybody at the bar, this was an IBM event that we basically snuck into. So everybody at the bar is getting free drinks on EMC, and I got all their information. All these IBM guys are saying, what the F's going on here? So there's a lot of opportunities to be creative as you're doing these things too, right?
Yeah. And I think one thing you touched on too is key, because I remember like people are always like, "Oh, I need my business card. I'm going to this event." Like I used to, one of my old global heads of sales, he'd be like, "I don't have business cards. Nobody wants my card. I want their card. If I'm going to the event, I'm a salesperson. Like I want their card." Like, yeah, you wanted to kind of give it to people so you can kind of have that nice exchange when you took it and you said, and look what they did. They gave it to the bartender. So how many of them left with your information, right? Like,
well, I was going to be following up.
Well, of course, but that's what you need to do as anyone. So it's like you need to get the cards and have the conversation so you can follow up with the right thing. It's not just, oh, they left it in our prize bucket. It's like you have the conversations, you take your notes, and then you follow up with the right information, quickly with them too. Keep it while it's hot. Keep momentum going.
Absolutely. And Mitch, who is at Beaver Creek, said it was an old projector.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for that, Mitch. And good reminder. So anybody watching or listening along, feel free to chime in with any comments or questions as well. We got a wealth of information here that Tom can certainly share. So before we move on from maximizing your ROI from your events, anything else you want to touch on for the homework before or during or after? Anything else?
I think the main thing is just to follow through on it, right? Like there's a lot of people that will start it, maybe do some pre-event campaigns, and then from a sales perspective, they may wait for marketing to, just send kind of some blanket stuff. But it's like you got to follow through with the people that, like we just mentioned. You get the business card of someone, follow up. "Hey, Randy, I met you. I know you have a sales community and has so and so many members. Blah blah blah." Like specific follow up, follow through. That's so in any facet of sales, that's what separates the great from the mediocre. It's the follow through for me.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of times the leads kind of get stuck, like it's fresh, and you never know kind of where they go. But it would be, it's whatever the marketing. Then it might go to the SDR, BDR, and then all of a sudden, a rep gets this like a month later. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! Like,
yeah,
wish I had it, or things get dropped. I had,
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, it's like you filled the funnel, but it hovered on the top. It kind of did, percolated up there for 30 days, and by then it's cold. It's cooled off. You're starting from scratch, which again, you could have just got their phone number, found them on LinkedIn and pinged them as opposed to going to an event.
Yeah, and I used to give also out when I was at some of the bigger companies, would give like my wife's contact information, and then see how long it takes the process to actually follow up.
Okay, nice.
Interesting. So at the companies that I was at, and she'd have a kind of a different, you wouldn't be able to tell it was Seidel. So yeah, it was an interesting thing to see how long, or you can kind of write in, "Hey, good, a good title." Yeah. Kind of interesting there. So, all right, changing gears then. So kind of selling to net new accounts and markets. You touched on before in terms of the importance of leveraging relationships.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people, they look at it's like selling into new territories, net new accounts. It's we got a cold call, or we got to, we need marketing to create these things. It's like, I think, yeah, you got to do all the above, but it's like where the easiest place to start. Leverage the relationships that you have. For me, it's people you worked with in the past that are at new companies now. Follow them. People that you worked with in the past that you no longer work with, get them back in the mix. Old proposals you had, people that had gone down the sales cycle. Like there's ways to to kind of shortcut these things and really start warmer, right? Like then just, hey, here's my ICP, here's another 100 people that kind of fit that profile. But that, what you gather from those people that are kind of the warmer then translates to the messaging that you're giving, bringing to those cold people to like really even kind of warm them up further, right? Like you can leverage, relationships to kind of get intros or referrals and that stuff. But for me, it's like if you start with people that you can, understand what hits home with them, where they are, where it's going, and then, really kind of taking it further to the cold people in the market from there. And I think, that to me is like a key differentiator in, what you should be doing versus what a lot of people do. Or they don't do anything, or they're just really, just got to throw it all against the wall and see if something sticks.
Totally. And Tucker is prompting us here. I guess some of the questions aren't populating. So Rick Diana asks, hi, Tom, I'm enjoying your conversation with Randy. Has the trade show sector rebounded completely or differently post-COVID? Great question.
Yeah. I think we're seeing it as, the sector itself, it seems to be back now, right? Like, obviously like post-COVID, there was a huge surge and then it's kind of settled back into, pre-COVID numbers from there. The beginning half of this year was, trade show economy was up. It's looking a little flattish in the back half of the year. But we're seeing that there. But I'd say, initially it was just people wanted to get back out and get together again. Now it's starting to take that advancement. It's like, well, hey, if I'm going to go out, like I kind of, got over that initial, like I was stuck in my house for the last 6 months with no one to talk to. Now it's like, I want to go out, I want to make it meaningful. I want to drive there. And that's putting pressure on, the sellers, right? Like to make sure we're giving them value and doing that. But then on the opposite side, like buyers, they're going there a little more intelligently. So it's, you got to kind of leverage that technology, take those things to drive your value and ROI from it for sure.
Gotcha. And thanks for your help here, Tucker. And from Mark Rothschild, best conference swag, collapsible dog water bowl, great conversation starter. And I'll add, it's probably easy to pack.
That is easy to pack. Mark is one of our recent hires. He's one of the new people we brought in. He's going to be leading the charge in one of our sectors on new business stuff. So
excellent. Hopefully,
thanks for showing up, Mark.
Hopefully the dog water bowl says SmartSource. And, Justin Middleton says, we used to take pictures with prospects that are super qualified and save it as the contact photo in their phone. So when you engage with them, they have a face with the name.
I like that.
There you go. Unless you're like me and you have a good face for radio. I don't know if I have a good face for that. But Justin, awesome. And Joey says, watching Tom come into SmartSource has been awesome to watch. He gets it. So good tie in there. So you get the relationship side, but then the other side of the equation, you have just kind of raw cold calling. And I think you've had some amazing results leveraging phone ready leads on the cold calling. Oh, we got somebody in there. Hey, who's that?
That's Cooper. You say hi?
Cooper, what's up?
There's
actually a mountain near Beaver Creek and Vale called Ski Cooper.
No way, huh? How about that? We're gonna have to get you into Beaver Creek.
So I've actually not been there. I've always wanted to go there. So awesome. So
check it out. Yeah. So it doesn't matter whether it's people or cold people that you're doing. Like you need to have a plan to follow through. I think is one thing too. Like people will be like, well, I tried calling that person I know. It's like that you got to call them 7 or 8 times. You got to call them to get in touch. But what we've started leveraging with Joey has been awesome. It's like, well, we have, we work with Zoom Info and it's great. Like, but then using Joey's phone ready leads, it shows us, who are the people that are more, what's the word? More likely to pick up the phone, more prone, have a higher propensity, right? Higher propensity to answer. So we'll take those people, and if they're going to answer the phone, we're going to put them into a call campaign. The ones that don't, we put into an email campaign, right? Like, so we can hit them at where they want to be reached at. And what we saw with the calls, we did, I think it was last month when we were looking at it, it about a little over 400 dials, and it resulted in 100 pitches. So if we can get that situation where we can get 100 conversations out of 400 dials, whereas before it was probably 100 out of 1,000, 2,000 maybe sometimes, depending on
It'd be
what we're focusing.
yeah, because typical pickup rates are like 3 to 5%. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been good. It's been really impactful, but it's like, but you need to follow through with that. You got to have someone that's going to pick up the phone. You could have dialers and all these other things, but like, you got to pick up the phone and be ready to speak to them when they get there. This guy.
Awesome. Hey, Cooper, do you want to go into sales when you grow up?
No.
No? What do you want to do?
The golf ball there. What do you want to do when you grow up?
Oliver?
Look at Randy and speak up when you talk to him.
I don't know.
You don't know? I thought, what did you say at your graduation? Your kindergarten graduation. What did you want to be when you grow up? A lawyer is what he said.
Lawyer.
The only kid at the graduation that was saying he's a lawyer.
There you go. All right. And from Robert Edwards, love the idea of the photo, to the contact. We'll be adding future developments of SmartSource lead capture. Awesome. And
Robert's one of the team here.
Matthew Thomas, CIER, has data on how the trade show industry has rebounded post-COVID. Plus, I think there's a huge aspect. People just want to be out there face to face, right? I know from doing our different events, something huge there. And Stephen Workman says, hey, Cooper.
You got a eye.
So pretty good there. And also too, just thinking about kind of new markets. So I got parachuted in early on with EMC to the UK, also same thing in Australia. And we, literally had like no customers, or maybe like, one or two through a distributor or something like that. So it's better to be lucky than good. So somehow I figured out Bank of England in the UK was like the most respected company. So it'd be like, in the old days, Goldman Sachs on Wall Street. Okay, if you get a Goldman Sachs, okay, you must be something. So I basically met with the Bank of England guy and I said, hey, here's us. I know you're Bank of England fancy. I really just want to have you as a logo. So whatever, I forgot what it was. I think it was a DECVAX memory board or something like that. So like whatever the smallest thing is that I could sell, had that. But truth is, I had them as a logo. And I'm like, hey, if I could use it as a reference call here and there and show your logo, that'd be great. It's like, okay, sure. Love the idea. But I think for being deliberate with your early customers, that a lot of times, especially, some of these engineering led companies, okay, you got to have product market fit. You want to make sure it works. But from a sales perspective, given a choice, if you can target your early customers, your ideal customer profile around known names that are kind of trusted or respected, if you're going to have an Oracle, a ServiceNow, a Dell or Cisco versus some company you never heard of before as a customer, that's huge, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's also, it's having those kind of bellwethers, those known brands, those big enterprise orgs that are out there, but then having, different smatterings throughout kind of the mid market and small to mid, because, I've had it in the past where we'll talk to, a small to mid-sized organization and we'll drop one of the top 5, top 10 orgs. They're like, yeah, of course they're a client of yours. They buy everything. They do that. And it's like, well, hey, I want to show you, like, look, we passed the mustard for those guys, but we have someone that's about your size. Or even, I love showing, hey, we have someone that's slightly smaller than you that's using us.
Yeah.
So you gotta, build the credibility all after. So,
great.
But yeah, those are all great points.
And Matthew says CEIR, which I had no clue what it stood for, stands for Center for Exhibition Industry Research. Wow, pretty cool. So before you touched on some of your sales tech stack tools, so Zoom Info, assume you use that for contacts, and I think you said you're also using Ringlead.
Yep, we have Ringlead for enrichment of contacts. Kind of helps us with some Salesforce cleaning. I think we're just starting. I have a new senior director of RevOps that joined in May. So he's been kind of tackling a lot of this stuff to have us primed for the future, making great progress. So I think we're just starting to tap into Ringlead's value on a marketing side. They have Marketing OS from Zoom Info. Again, a lot of market mapping we're utilizing them for, not just the contact details. but yeah, Zoom. We use outreach for our sales engagement. Whether it's staying in touch with current clients or kind of going out there and testing. And I think that's the key thing too. When you look at like new business, whether it's event ROI or this stuff, like it's inspecting what's going out there. So like with outreach or Salesforces or CRM, looking at the data and see where the fracture points are. What is it showing you? What messages are resonating with what audiences? What audiences are responding? Where is it a miss? Where do you tweak? Like instead of just kind of going, you got to kind of stop and inspect, and then you got to pivot accordingly. So, but outreach and I mentioned Salesforce. Those are the main things that we use, from a tech stack perspective right now. Obviously we work with Joey and the team of Phone Ready Leads as well. That allows us to kind of supercharge those contacts and have the right efforts focused in the right areas. But, for us, we're still kind of, we're systemizing, some of the stuff that takes our guys away from selling, just some admin stuff that's internally. We're working on that. And again, we want to work with our clients more. We want to get more surveys to them. We want to understand more from them on, where their challenges are, where the real values are felt, so we can invest in our products in that sector, our people that are filling those roles, and support others to expand it more.
Awesome. And from a kind of getting your team up and going, lots of good best practices, I'm sure already. Anything special you do on the kind of coaching or training side?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of really, I was fortunate. I mean, one of the biggest attractions to me was the team that was here at was from Global Data here at SmartSource, right? So it was, it reminded me a lot of the team that I had there. It was that collaborative competition. People were there. So it's part of it has been, kind of, really leaning into the people that are, been here and so successful, and, kind of getting those stories from them, getting those processes from them. Like what are the client stories that works? Was it go there? So it's, a lot of like supporting each other and kind of trying to create some systems process. We're still building that foundational process now. I mean, the people that I hired this year are really, Matt Thomas, who had mentioned this stuff. He was a new hire about I think a year and a half, 2 years ago. But I really think prior to him, they hadn't hired many new people in the last couple of years. So we're kind of, now we're forging some of the development plans and training aspects for it.
Awesome. And good lead in here. And we're also talking to Sandler and Octus on some things there of how they can help you going forward too, right?
Yeah, I've been speaking with Mitch at Octus about, better ways we could understand, kind of the characteristics and what works best with the sales team. That will help us with hiring, but will help us develop the right training plans for the right people as well. And then obviously, Sandler, sales process element. I'm very familiar with them from just my selling days, and also from top 1%er. We work with a lot of organizations that have Sandler in place, and support that. So we're going to see how that can help us kind of fast track and shorten ramps further as well.
Awesome. And from Jackson, we have curious to hear your initiatives as you head into 2025 and what gaps you're looking to close for your organization. So if you want to mention maybe, one or two.
Yeah, I mean, I think for there's a big initiative on expanding our markets, right? So whether it's different verticals we could sell into, or just getting new logos where we are, so for me, it's inspecting the data that we're starting to collect and put out there.
Hey, Cooper.
Hey.
Hey.
Camps are done. School doesn't start for another week. We are in the thralls of it now, man. So for me, it's really, I want to see what the data is showing me, for like where we should be focusing our markets and really build that predictable kind of growth engine in, that we're scaling it, but also to show me where I need to train and develop, where there are opportunity areas for us as an organization to get there. I think for us, it's really, our retention rates have been phenomenal because we do really work for our clients. It's, just getting more clients on board so we can do that.
Awesome. So I guess point of the story is leverage SmartSource. So you've got the best practices to save money in terms of a lot of the minutia stuff where the bill can really run up, and then add the real value with all the great offerings that SmartSource can provide.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's like, the people that have been at SmartSource for so long, they understand events, they understand the technologies, how to, work within budgets, which is always the heaviest part of an event side. I think something that SmartSource has that's beginning to leverage is just further expertise. Like, we talk about how do you maximize the ROI at the event. I can help anyone to run a more effective sales campaign at an event, from my experience working events, from selling them, from now working on the AV and tech side of events, and just from building go-to-market sales teams for the last 15 years. Like, I bring that expertise that we supply to our clients. My marketing team can help their marketing team develop those. Our digital solutions team can help them build better content that's more engaging or get their messages across. So it's like a full service consultancy for the cost of the commodity of the technology, right? So yeah, leverage us, leverage me. We're here to help.
Yeah, there you go. And at the end, for those that know me, I don't know if there's any PG Randy story you want to share.
I gotta say, I saw it when you had Paul on Salamanca on a couple weeks ago. He brought up this story, but I want to tell it from a little bit of a different perspective, because this is when we met, Randy. You set up the skiers. You say, what groups are you guys in? Are you a beginner? Are you intermediate, expert? And I was like, I'm a beginner. And you're like, just how much of a beginner are you? I said, I've never skied in my life. And you're like, whoa. And I'm like, I'll be fine. Don't worry. I can figure it out. I'm sure. Like, how hard is it at skiing that everyone talks about? You're like, you're skiing with me. I'm going to spend the morning with you. And this is your event that you're running and doing this. And you're like, I'll spend the morning with you. I'll have you skiing by lunch so you can make it to where the restaurant is.
Yeah.
Right. And so, sure enough, we went up there. We went to the magic carpets. I'd say, we did 2 or 3 runs back and forth on it. You got me going with the pizza and the French fries and everything. Skiing by lunch. I was doing blues by the end of the trip. Might have stumbled and tripped a few times, but that to me, was better than all the wine we've drank, all the toasts we've had. Like, the fact that I could say I could ski now from a half a morning lesson from you. Just the mentorship along the way. It was awesome. I mean, like, the fact you were like, I'll do it. We did it. And we were off on the bunny trails and then moving to the, up the ranks throughout the trip. So that was one of my favorite times. And now it's like, you see Cooper and we live on the East Coast. So the mountains are not as great as West. But we're planning trips now. I want to take him skiing, get him going. Like, my daughter's 4, we get her on the hills. So I gotta pay it forward now. I gotta take what you taught me and bring it in.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah. Some of the best things for the kids learning these, we call it edgy wedgie, but it's like a big thick rubber band that you tie on the tips of the skis. So that way, then they really can do the pizza turns. And
okay.
And then for the parents that hold the kids or do a harness, that's like the worst thing possible. So anyway, longer story. So if I get fired from my day job by myself, I guess I can go be instructor. We're just about to go here, but maybe quickly we can just get to Rick's question. Thanks, Rick. Tell me a little bit about your ideal salesperson, new hire. Are you looking for industry experience? Is it more about their sales aptitude, et cetera? Is a compensation plan weighed heavily on production, or is it balanced? So a lot of questions there. If you can do it briefly, that'd be great.
So we have the industry expertise in-house. So I think I'm more focused on people that have, the mindset that's open to learning new things and kind of doing that and are willing to ask for help, right? Like, so I'd look for someone that has more, kind of a sales process experience and work ethic that's in line with what we're looking for here, because we certainly have, whether it's the VPs of sales or their peers or the people on our operations or product sides, we have the expertise in the various technical aspects and industries themselves. I'd like someone, if ideal, sales process, and you've worked in the industries that we're targeting. Doesn't need to be our products. so yes, more about their sales aptitude and compensation plan. I mean, we're looking to aggressively grow, so there will be, incentives on, performance, um, for sure. There's no caps and accelerators on, beating targets and, growing there. So I think it's something that's very, um, in line with the industry right now, or with, just the market, I should say, not the industry. But has the opportunity to grow. I mean, look, like I said, hiring a couple more people this year, going to be looking to add to that next year. With that become needs of infrastructure and, growth of, whether it's a senior sales or to start leadership opportunities. There's a tremendous amount of opportunity here. And I'm someone that promotes on, your consistency and your results and your aptitude or, you know, abilities, not on tenures. So I think there's a great opportunity.
Love it. Great answer. Thanks, Rick. And Rick, heads up, I'll be, if you have nothing else to do, I'm going to be at Tommy's games in Rockland County this weekend on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, all right. So wrapping up here, you've been awesome. Next week, we have Burke Mesta, who has a great topic, finding the balance, trust, and relationships versus AI. And then Scott Barker and Paul Irving from GTM Fund around GTM best practices. We're both LPs, GTM Fund, right?
Yeah. I like how I know all these names here, Randy. These are good people, good company.
And so coming up, Scott Harvey, who's a CRO at Sprinkler, Steve Zhao, who runs sales at Cynics, Scott McNeely, actually we just got confirmed, Denise Millard, who's a channel chief at Dell, Matt Horner, WWT. So real good lineup there. So everybody's been watching. Thanks so much. For those that are members of Sales Community, thanks. For those that are not, Tucker threw the link on there for you to get a free membership. If you want to kind of maximize your ROI from exhibits and trade shows, go to SmartSource. So Cooper, I think this is actually the first kid we've actually had on. I love it. Cooper, great having you. We'll book you out by maybe 30 years.
7, 8 years. It'll be good. It'll be about 15 then. So yeah, maybe 20 years.
Like that. So, all right, everybody have a great day, great week. Tucker, thanks for your help behind the scenes. And then Tom, reminder to stay on.